Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Amber Nestor with TennesseeLandAndHomeStore.com, and today we're going to take a beautiful tour of Roane County Park on the lake. It is a very big park. It's also just a couple minutes away from a home I have for sale at 425 Ashe Cabin Hollow Road, Harriman. That's Ashe, A-S-H-E. Cabin Hollow Road, again 425 Ashe Cabin Hollow Road, Harriman, Tennessee. We're going to check out Roane County Park. It is one of the wonderful amenities of Roane County, and again, it's about 2 minutes away from the property. Let's check it out. So as soon as we begin to enter Roane County Park, you can see that there are extensions of hiking trails and walking trails. And these extend all throughout the perimeter of the entirety of the park. They branch off in different directions, but they encapsulate the entirety of the park. They are very, very beautiful. In the spring, one of my favorite things to do is to look for ephemeral flowers, of which there are a large variety. Ones that are also famous for being found in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. On the left of as you're entering the park, you can see there are some courts, and that's a really nice touch. There's special parking for the courts. Heading down this way, having taken a left into the park, we are going towards the Master Gardeners Society Garden, and this is a really beautiful touch. We're going to check it out. Also, over here on the left, just past the courts, you can see there is a ball field and a little game going on right there. There's some beautiful weeping willow trees and a large variety of plants and flowers and herbs all throughout this special garden. There is also a water feature, a little mini waterfall right over here. The trails kind of intertwine through the garden. There's also a lot of really cool labeling throughout the garden, identifying the plants, so you can learn about the plants as you're walking through the garden. They do so much detail with this garden every year, and you can see the waterway comes into an inlet here, and you can hike off in the grass and around into that little area over there. Is very beautiful. Sometimes a lot of ducks and geese will gather around this area. It's just a really pretty spot, one of my favorite spots to pass through as I'm hiking all the trails personally. Over here on the right, you'll see one of the stations for the disc golf. What do you call it? Like game that's intertwined all throughout the park. So there's signs that you go to like different sections of it. I'm not describing that very well, but if you're familiar with disc golf, you'll understand. So over here you can see more of the waterway and how this hiking trail follows the waterway. So this whole park is kind of shaped like a giant peninsula, and the water encapsulates all around it. There are tons of covered pavilion picnic areas throughout. This is one of the smaller ones. Some of them are really massive. You can have events here. There's many playgrounds. One of those you're about to see on the left-hand side. This is one of the big playground areas, and again, it's overlooking the waterway down here. Very beautiful, and there's a little fountain in the water down here. And you can see again where that trail wraps around. It is coming out right here. There's also a pier down there that you can sit at the end of the pier and put your feet in the water down behind those trees. Over here on the right side, you can see there's a nice brick bathroom facility. Another picnic area with a pavilion, sits back more in the shade. Right here you can get a little bit of a closer look at this section of the waterway and trail that wraps around it. Looking over here to the right, you can see this pavilion space is massive. There's probably, I don't know, 50 picnic tables or more underneath there. If you look back into the woods here, you can see there is a brick home, and I believe there's several of these throughout, and you can rent those through the Parks and Rec website, I think. On this side, on the left again, you can see another pavilion with more picnic tables and this beautiful water fountain in this little section of the waterway here. And again, the trails continue to wrap around the perimeter of where the land meets the waterway. This is an example of one of the spots that's part of that disc golf game that's intertwined throughout. It gives you like stations with directions and all that kind of stuff. This is a really pretty spot here on the trail. The Roane County Park has groundskeepers that do an amazing job keeping everything beautiful and clean and tidy. Occasionally you'll notice a pile of trees and brush where maybe like a tree has fallen from a storm, and it will go through stages of being broken up and then turned into wood chips or hauled away. You'll also notice some strategically placed special types of little animal houses, little bird houses that are labeled with information talking about exactly what they're there for and what part of project they're part of and what type of wildlife they are there to support. Some of the ephemeral flowers that you can find throughout this park during the early spring include yellow trilliums. It's very abundant in yellow trilliums. Also mayapple, which gets a really unique white flower that's hidden underneath a large leaf. You can also find many others. From this angle here, if we zoom in, you can see one of those piers I was telling you about that's just really nice to sit at the end of and put your feet in the water at the end of a hot day. It's really peaceful, relaxing. Over here in this section we have another playground area, another swing set area, and then back behind it is another pavilion area with a network of picnic tables. Over here there are some games and play areas and different little structures for people to just gather and enjoy and have fun with their kids. It's really great. Now I'm in one of the upper parking lot areas towards the back of the peninsula type shape. You can see the trails are continuing throughout the entirety along the perimeter where the waterway meets the shoreline. Down here is a designated area and public fishing pier. And if we look over this way and zoom out a little bit, there is a sectioned off area for swimming. You can kind of see how there's a border there kind of glistening in the light. That's a swimming area. Right here we have another playground area with more play equipment and swings. And then a little bridge, part of the trail, and then over here a slide overlooking more of the waterway, another pavilion area with more picnicking space, and then this trail that extends downward leads you down to the teal building where there's bathrooms and showers. From this angle you might get a little bit better peek at the structures down there. You can see there are water features and seating and a welcome sign, and there's an entrance, and it's just like all these different little features down there to enjoy. You can see some geese down here floating along the waterway. There's some ducks looking for a snack in the little inlet over here. We are making our way around the park. The trail is wrapping back around this direction. Starting to have a nice breeze where it looks like a storm's gonna roll in soon. You'll also see lots of really entertaining squirrels throughout this park. They're very friendly. They love if you bring some sunflower seeds. They are very used to people and they're just very cute and sweet and really funny, so they're fun. Across the way you can see that Caney Creek's RV resort is across the way, and there's a dock and some boats over there. There's also some chairs along this section of the park, and you'll find lots of places where there are little trash cans for your convenience. This looks like a giant frame, and it has a stand that you can walk up on it, and I'm not really sure what the intention was, but behind it there's waterway. And I've seen some people come here and stand and pose and take a picture, and it kind of makes it look like you're in a painting outdoors. It's kind of neat. A lot of times the squirrels will hang out in the frame, which is very cute. Right here is a really special section because down here at the bottom there's a water access point. It's a great place to sit and get some sun and hang out, but it also has a special launching ramp for kayaks specifically. It's a really convenient, really neat feature. It's also a great place to walk out on the edge of the pier and just take some beautiful pictures of the waterway. And the trails continue off this way into the woods. And here in just a minute, we might continue on a little hike back in there so you can see how pretty it really is. This is the front view of one of the cottages that you can rent. And again, if you go to the Roane County, what's it called, Parks and Rec website, I think there's links there to learn how you can reserve one of these spaces. Blue herons are commonly sighted throughout the park and throughout all of Roane County. Personally, they are one of my favorite birds of all time. They are so beautiful and so interesting. And if you're lucky, you see one of them catch a fish and eat it on the shoreline, which is a pretty wild thing to observe. Some of them are really big, some of them are really friendly. I've had ones that will like go for a walk with me on the trail. It's pretty fascinating, but I really love the blue herons. They are definitely one of my all-time favorite birds to watch. So, kind of cool that we bumped into one today. The park also has really great signage throughout it, and you can go to the website for Roane County Park, and there are really great diagrams as well. So it's always easy to kind of familiarize yourself with the lay of the land and all of the features that are here at the park to explore. It's really important in the spring and early spring that if you do see ephemeral flowers that you do not touch them, you don't step on them, you don't pull them up, you don't pick them. Ephemeral flowers, especially yellow trilliums, are a protected flower and they are delicate. And for example, a seed from a yellow trillium takes about 7 years before it produces a flower. Then after that, the plant behaves in a perennial manner. It comes back every year from its rooting system, and each year that it returns, the flowers become bigger and the clusters become larger. So it's a plant that can grow from either seed or root, but they are they don't like to be bothered. So it's really important that you just leave them alone and enjoy their beauty. You can also find wild Solomon seal throughout this park during certain times of the year. Fire pinks, and just many, many, many more. We're gonna check out part of this hiking trail. So there's lots of really big, beautiful trees and a beautiful tree canopy. So even on the hottest summer days, you can come walk these trails and really catch a break from some of the heat. And that's one thing I really love about this park. So we'll start this little part of the hike by heading down here to the waterway. There's some bench seating here. There's usually a lot of squirrels hanging out through this section and also through all this section up through here. Looks like we're gonna have some little geese to visit walking over here. There's a few making their way over from the waterway. Hi there, beautiful. Hi there, pretty birds. Hi there, pretty birds. What you guys doing? See if they're just chilling, man. They're enjoying the view. Check it out. People over here at the Caney Creek Resort having a good time, listening to some music. This is the kayak launch I was telling you about. Really cool feature there. Sounds like I need to go join that party. But this is just so beautiful, so peaceful, so pretty. I think that's my cue to start dancing on the dock, y'all. They're turning up the music for me. Benny and the Jets. You know, one thing about living in Roane County is there is truly true lake life. I mean, everybody out here is in some way part of the lake life kind of atmosphere. There's so many marinas, there's so much wildlife, there's so much waterfront, there's so many parks and water access areas. It's just a whole culture out here. Fishing, hunting, boating, partying. Sometimes there's even boats that have church services out on the water, which I think is really cool and beautiful as well. Let's head on up this hiking trail. Hi there, you're really friendly. You're not running from me or anything. There's a blue heron. There's always blue herons hanging out down here. They like to land up on the top of these trees right here a lot. See you later, geese. They're going down their little trail there. Ducks hang out at this spot right here a lot too. They're so darn cute. It's a good place to come and just get away from it all. Oh, it feels great out here today. It's like heavenly. Lots of mimosa trees, which it seems like some of the blooming is already done with the mimosa trees. Seemed like they bloomed a little earlier this year than usual. There's also kind of a famous squirrel that some people out here know about. It's a giant squirrel and he has one eye and he hangs out down here and he's really friendly. But if you ever visit Roane County Waterfront Park and you encounter the giant one-eyed squirrel, shoot me a text on Facebook and let me know that you've seen him too. I wonder if the phone is picking up all these people listening to music and having a good time over there. This is a pretty spot to peek through the cedars. This is a good spot to feed the squirrels when they're out and about. The wind always kind of pulls through this section of trail in such a nice way. It's super refreshing. I think that the rules at this park are you're supposed to leave before dusk, and the sign kind of implies that if you don't, you might get locked in, but if you accidentally stay past exact dusk, don't panic, there's a way to get out. I came down here hiking one day, and another neat thing about this park is that all throughout it, trees are just covered in these love hearts, and some of them have dates from the 80s and the 90s, and it's just a really neat thing. I mean, just these love hearts all over the park. So it's just like a really sweet, kind of fun thing to look for. Certain trees are just covered in them. When I first moved to Roane County, I came here from Townsend, Tennessee. I'd spent most of my life in and around the Blount County area, exploring Blount County, Townsend, Wares Valley, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Jefferson County, Douglas Lake, Cherokee Lake, Maryville, Alcoa, Louisville, Loudon, Lenore. Some of my favorite trails were the ones in Townsend, Tennessee, and they were something that I really missed. And so when I found the trails over here at Roane County Park, I was so happy, because anytime I wanted to feel like I was back in the mountains hiking a trail, I could come here. They do a really good job, the groundskeepers do a really good job of keeping everything upscaped, which I really love. So the horizontal branches that might be like lower to the ground, most of those are trimmed and removed. So, and they trim the forest floor as well during the certain parts of the year. The video looks a little bit blurry, so I guess it's trying to adjust to the lighting and all this movement of me walking, but this is just one little section of the trail network. It's the section that's like the most shaded, so it's always a little cooler. And I like it because of that. Heading down this way, we're heading close to the main road where the entry point is for the park. So you might hear more cars and stuff this time of day. It's evening and people are heading home from work and things. Another native plant I've seen through here, I think it's called spiderwort. They get these beautiful clusters of purple flowers, like light purple flowers. Down here there's a little creek line that winds about through the grounds. Feeds through from over there. Starting to see a few fireflies. See, that one just lit up again. Oh, one lit up over there, one lit up over there. Let's see if I can capture one light up in real time. Some up there just lit up. Not sure if the camera's picking it up or not, but they're there. This section is called Scarborough Trail. It's got a little label on it there. And I might hike on over to the gardens and let you guys take a closer look at those. Every day I try to get in 3 miles if I can. And this is a great place to do it, but there's many places to do it around here. Here's a little Roane County Park stone since 1949. It's pretty cool. This sign tells you about the rules and the hours, contributions made by TVA, and I think also some by TWRA. I think what I might do is pause the video, hike back to my car, bring the car down here, that way we still have some daylight left so I can show you everything that's in that beautiful garden. I like this section of the walk because I think it's just so pretty when the trees kind of hug the sky around the top of the road like that. Makes me feel like I'm back in the mountains again. Not a lot of people know this, but this plant is called Creeping Charlie. And if you find some that looks like the leaves are solid green and you're certain that they've not been sprayed with any chemicals, you can pluck the leaves and make a tea with them, and they're really high in vitamin C. In the spring, you can find Solomon seal plants along the trails, and if you see like you know, a cluster of maybe 6 plants, and they look abundant and healthy, and you don't think they've been sprayed with any kind of chemicals. Something that I personally do, I'll gather 3 or 4 leaves and I will make a tea with those. They have really incredible healing properties. Sometimes right here over by the kayak launch, they keep a porta potty over in this area. It's not here today, so maybe they took it off to service it. But there's bathroom facilities right over there and right over there nearby. Okay, so now we're going to take a closer look at the Master Gardeners Association's beautiful gardens this year. Every time I'm here, I make a point to slow down and enjoy this beauty. See, Master Gardeners of Roane County. Might even get a little pinch of some wild thyme or rosemary. A good place too to come take some pictures, like if you have a memory that you want to capture, a special day, a birthday, an event, maybe before going to prom or something like that. Can be a really good place to come get some cute pictures. Sometimes the waterfall is on. Right now it's not, so maybe they're getting ready to do an improvement or upgrade to it. I think this is the first time I've ever seen it be off, honestly. And all the different little sections of plants, they have little signs and labels, and sometimes there's educational information. So pretty. So many beautiful varieties. I love these greenish hydrangeas. First time I ever really noticed them, I think I was maybe visiting Tennessee National, maybe, and I just thought, I really love those. They're so pretty. What's this? They have little information sheets in there. It's getting a little bit later in the season, the hotter part of summer, so there's not as many blooms as you normally see in the earlier part of the season. Last year there were just tons of different varieties of lilies and stuff in the back here. This pretty willow tree. Now let's head back over to this back section here. A lot of people don't think to walk back over to this section, but it's one of my favorite spots in the park. Having come from Blount County to Roane County in 2020, beginning of 2020, I started visiting Roane in 2019. I have been so incredibly impressed with the countless beautification projects all over the county. It seems like every month I notice some new improvement or piece of art or some addition that they've made to beautify the community, and it just instills a lot of confidence in the local city government and city governments and the county government, and that they genuinely care about investing in beautification of the community. In the winter, you can't see it right now, but when the water levels lower, there are these gorgeous, unique rock formations that get revealed all through here and all down here, but they're hidden underwater right now, but they're beautiful. The water, of course, is at its peak levels right now for summertime. Yeah, just all along here, tons of these gorgeous, unique, very large rock formations. You can kind of see the top of one of them right there. Every year in the winter, exploring the shorelines, it's like going to a whole different world, because all of the shorelines completely transform, mostly into these sandy, larger, open, hikeable areas. They will be filled with deer tracks and wildlife, and it's like this whole different experience entirely of the waterways and the shores. It's really nice. No matter what kind of day you're having, if you come to one of the waterfront parks or one of the public land spaces in Roane County, of which there are so very many to choose from, no matter what kind of day you've had, it's 100 times better once you've spent some time on public lands. The main road passes through right there. You know, I've noticed these before, but I've never really gotten a close look at them. Let's see if we can see a date on these. 1763 to 1859. Samuel Acreage, maybe? Let's see if this one has something we can still read on it. Looks like an angel. Kind of looks like maybe there was some lettering here, but weather might have worn it away. Well, this video is at about 40 minutes, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. And I think I might make another one down at Kingston City Park on my way home. So check back on my YouTube channel and you may get a tour of that park as well if there's enough daylight left for me to squeeze that in. So I hope you learned something new about beautiful Roane County. And again, this park is just a couple of minutes away from the home and acreage I have for sale right now at 425 Ashe, A-S-H-E, Cabin Hollow Road, Harriman, Tennessee. And you can plug that address in on Realtor.com or Zillow. You can contact me at 865-617-4783. I'm a little winded. Okay, so that's all for now. Come back if you want to see a tour of Kingston City Park.